and had an on-court disconnect with DeMar DeRozan. So, Shams, I was fully invested into your article and your report because you know I'm a Chicago guy and a big Bulls fan. But after your report, the Bulls won 3 straight games, but they dropped a very winnable game against the Houston Rockets in the United Center Monday night. So what's really standing in the way right now, and with everything going on with this team, how do they get things right?
Well, they got it right for a brief moment in time, but I think when you look at the overall situation, this is still one where the on-court situation between DeMar DeRozan and Zach Lavine, the disconnect that exists. And personally, I think they're fond of each other. There's a level of respect there. But on the court, they have yet to be able to take it to the next level. And not having Lonzo Ball in the lineup hurts this team because Lonzo Ball was a guy that got everyone involved, was able to push the pace, and you had the ball in his hands to make plays. Now you have a lot more isolation and pick and roll play with DeMar DeRozan and Zach Lavine. So right now, this is a team that's trying to figure out if this is the group that you can move forward with. And in the case of Zach Lavine, more so, I think there are a host of teams around the league keeping a close eye on him. Does he become available before that February 9th trade deadline? He's a guy, as I reported, it's believed that he's not seeing eye to eye with the organization right now. And there's also skepticism about Billy Donovan and his ability to really optimize DeMar DeRozan, Zach Lavine in this unit and make the best out of it. So a lot of question marks for this Bulls team as they try to right the ship.
Well, that's where we bring in the face of our front office and Pat Garrity. Pat, you're a former assistant GM, man. So you heard the news of Zach Lavine and other teams kind of looking at this roster and seeing maybe they can work out a possible deal. But what do you do if you're a GM with this Bulls roster, and especially the 3 stars in DeRozan, Lavine, and Vucevic?
Yeah, Cam, you're in a tough spot. I mean, this is a win-now team. This team isn't a team that is growing into, a place at the top of the Eastern Conference. They have a veteran group right now leading this team, and they're just not getting it done. And they're particularly not getting it done on the defensive end of the floor. At times they look like lifeless, no energy. They're relying on their bench guys really to bring that toughness and that energy. I think, of immediate concern is what you do with Nikola Vucevic. He's going to be a free agent after this year. If he's not someone that you see in your future, you're not going to sign him to an extension. So it probably makes sense to see that if you can get some value for him leading up to the trade deadline here. They made a long-term commitment to Zach Lavine. DeMar DeRozan has 1 more year. And the big question mark to me is the health of Lonzo Ball. He to me, was a key part of this team. Just what he brought on the defensive end, his ability to space the floor. It's unclear if he's going to be able to get back to the level that he was. And if he's not, you look down that roster at some of the younger players. They have nice players, but is there really anyone that's going to kind of jump in and fill those starter-type minutes? So I think big questions and likely moves coming here at the trade deadline.
Well, when we talked about the Philadelphia 76ers, I talked about taking the regular season in doses, but this is a heavy dose that is hard to keep down with what the Bulls are going through. We'll see if they can change things around and maybe get back within one of the top spots.
Stress reaction injury in his right foot, and the hope is that through rest, rehab, and the overall process that this injury entails, based on pain tolerance, that he's going to be able to make enough progress to make a return to the floor. Because as of right now, there is a level of pain there. It has subsided substantially since it first began to happen. But there's no doubt there was a flare-up of this foot, and this is an injury where there's discomfort, there's pain. It's not a full-blown fracture as of right now, and there's hope that surgery is going to be avoided and that at some point in the month of January into February, Anthony Davis is going to be able to make a return. But again, until that point, this is a devastating loss for the Lakers. This has been a guy that was on an MVP-type track this year, but no AD for at least a month or so. And the hope is that he's going to be back at some point in January.
Yeah, Pat, we saw this Lakers team on Christmas Day in Dallas, and that was their 4th straight loss. And really, they've given up 124 points or more in this 4-game losing streak. So there was one point in that game where they ran a 5-guard lineup, which was pointing to the issues of their absence of length with AD out. So even LeBron made it a point to say that the Lakers are missing length without AD. But how can you replace that? I mean, you can't stack guys on top of each other's shoulder to try and make up the height difference. So who needs to step up for this Lakers team?
Yeah, no, it's Cam. It's one thing when you go small with a bunch of 6'5" and 6'7" guys. It's another thing when you go small like the Lakers and you put 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" guys on the floor. So look, I don't think that there's much that they can do. In all honesty, if you look back to the beginning of the season, you said what had to go right for this team to be competitive. It was Anthony Davis played at an all-NBA level, LeBron James staying healthy, Russell Westbrook accepting whatever role Darvin Ham was going to give him, and that was going to be off the bench, and Darvin Ham coming in and doing a good job. Now, all of those things have happened, and this is still a team that's below 500 right now. So I'm not optimistic. I think that this is a season where they just have to get through it, make sure that AD's healthy, because they've shown if they can add some pieces around he and LeBron, it could be a formidable team, but I don't think so this year.
Well, we know in the NBA, when you're going through some tough situations and on a losing streak, the road does not get easier. The Lakers are currently on a 5-game Eastern Conference road trip.
The reality and the facts is that the Lakers are going to have to be patient with those 2 first-round picks that they have, because those are their only 2 assets, guys, for the rest of the decade. And so if you're going to trade your 2027 first, your 2029 first-round picks, those are the only 2 picks you have the next 7 or 8 years. You have to be sure about the player you get. Now, if you can go get a Bradley Beal, if you can go get a Zach Lavine, maybe then you consider it. But some of these guys that we've been talking about over the last month or so, Bojan Bogdanovic, yeah, you'll go get him if you can move a protected first, and that's what they had offered. But now with Anthony Davis out, we don't know exactly when he's going to be back. He's definitely going to be out at least through mid-January. But how does he come back? When does he come back? Is he going to be anywhere close to what we saw, the MVP Anthony Davis? Because that is the type of player where you look at this team and you're like, all right, they can maybe do something in the playoffs. You have an AD that's potentially hobbled, that might be on minutes restriction. You're just not sure. So until you figure out exactly what AD looks like, it's tough to make a move where you're jeopardizing future assets. We saw them do a little bit of that when they made the Russell Westbrook trade. You traded a future first. You traded Kyle Kuzma. So they've been down that well already, and I think now that's why I think this organization is going to be patient.
Perk, while this might be the right mindset, the Lakers in actuality are 5-14 against teams 500 or better this season. Not shade, just facts. So what do you make of this assessment that the Lakers can beat anyone from Anthony Davis?
I think AD is out of his damn mind. And I don't want to hear about what he say they can do. Do it. This is where we at right now. Do it. You cannot be 5 games below 500. All right, have a 5-14 record against 500 teams or better, with a record of 500 or better, and come on here talking about you can compete with any team. I don't want to hear that. Do it. This team was assembled to win and win at an extremely high level, especially when they acquired Russell Westbrook last season. So you take LeBron, AD, and Russ, and they supposed to be sitting at, 10-15 right now is their record? Come on, man, at least get back to 500. Stay humble. This is the problem that you have, not only with the Lakers and the organization, but the fan base of the Lakers. Stay humble until y'all get where y'all supposed to be at, because right now, this ain't it.
Yeah, it is not what they expected, but at least you can take some good from his play so far. Woj, what did we learn? What's the state of the Los Angeles Lakers after this 3-3 road trip?
Yeah, Chiney, I think certainly one thing that the Lakers fans can take from this is you can see that this team is starting to develop an identity with Darvin Ham. That this is a group that is playing hard. They are competing. They are defending. You saw against Philly the way they came back in that game. Obviously, they would love to have made a couple free throws and stolen that game against the Sixers. But I think with Anthony Davis playing at an all-NBA level again, and LeBron James healthy, playing at a high level, you're starting to see role players growing with this team. And Russell Westbrook, since he started to come off the bench, I think that relationship with Darvin Ham has been, a godsend for this organization. And so I think like Perk said, I don't think this is a team that is among the elite, but it's certainly on any given night, I think they could beat the elite at home. Could they beat them in a 7-game playoff series? No. But I think certainly for this Laker team, for organization, you've seen growth. And this was a team early in the season I think people feared might be one of the worst in the West. They're not going to be that.
I mean, Russell Westbrook's turnaround from where he was the beginning of this season is one of the most remarkable things I've seen in this league in a long time. He was a game or two from either being sent home out of the league, and for him to be contributing at this level right now is an incredible testament to his mental makeup here and the way he's approached this, but also the relationship he built with Darvin Ham over the summer and the trust they have in each other. LeBron James is going to be 38 years old in a couple of weeks. 38 years old. That's an incredible. When you said that it was 20 years ago that he played in that high school game, that's right, because he was 18 then, and he's going to be 38 in 20. Oh my gosh, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, Perk, what you got?
Well, we're on here treating the Lakers like, it's a rebuild situation. Like this is a young ball club like the Houston Rockets. We're talking about a veteran group, okay? And we cannot sit up here again and applaud a fish for swimming by acknowledging that, hey, they're finally starting to play hard. They're finally starting to compete with other teams. They're finally starting to win some games. Like, this is a championship or bust type situation. And the fact of the matter is that are they going to win a championship this year? No, I'm not putting my money on that this team right here is going to win a championship. Have they gotten better? Have Russell Westbrook accepted his role off the bench? Yes. Have AD finally started playing like a top 5 talent? Yes. LeBron James, is he old? He's going to be eligible for his pension. I understand that. They are still 11 and 15 and number 12 in the Western Conference, and we cannot be treating them like they're a bunch of young guys that's going through growing pains.
Okay, Perk,
Three on that road trip was pretty good.
And they could have stole a game. They could have really gone 4-2.